Hello, everyone. At first, I was very indecisive on what topic I wanted to do for my Genius Hour project. I had multiple ideas and questions running through my mind, all which seemed to be vague or boring. After I spent a couple hours reviewing different possible topics, I finally came to the conclusion that I wanted to try and make my mom's Italian authentic pasta sauce. This would sure be an interesting ride for me, considering I had never made it before. But I am always up for a challenge. I will give you guys a quick breakdown of what I found as I was making it, what ingredients, materials, and steps I used, and how the actual experimented unfolded. Just like anything in life, it was definitely a work in progress each week, but I'm extremely happy with the way it turned out, and for having an opportunity to do something I enjoy doing. So here it goes. It seems obvious, or at least to me, that most children are fascinated or inspired from a very young age by what their parents do and say. This was certainly the case for me. Of course not with regards to making pasta sauce, but I always told myself that I wanted to be just like my mom, regardless of what I was doing. Any time spent with my mom was sure to be a good time. With this in mind, the course, and more specifically this project, allowed me to do just that. My mom was, of course, the reason or my inspiration for choosing this topic. Coming from an Italian background, a lot of the time and effort is devoted to making the perfect specialty foods, and the sauce just fits right into that category. It is a family tradition to gather all the tomatoes and put them into bushels and grind them with a mixture of tomato puree and paste. This was something that I did as a young girl, so it just seems fitting to learn how to make the sauce from beginning to end. I briefly mentioned in my weekly reflections that making sauce was a lot harder than I anticipated. It is much more than just adding the ingredients and using the proper materials. It takes a lot of time, and the proper amounts of ingredients need to be used in order to make it perfectly. It is not a project that you can just throw together on a whim and hope for the best, but rather one that you have to take your time and do it right. The ingredients, materials, and steps I used can be found on my blog, but I'll go over them in this talk. The ingredients are as follows: tomatoes, both crushed and whole; ground meat, both beef and veal; red peppers, onions, carrots, extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic. The materials I used were a spatula, a ladle, an electric mixer, a small pot which was used to scoop the sauce from the larger pot, a large pot, and a stove. The steps are as follows. Step 1. Have all the materials laid out so that you can have easy access to all of them. Step 2. Pour a full bottle, a 1-liter bottle, of extra virgin olive oil into the large pot and turn the stove on and let the oil boil at a medium temperature. As the oil is boiling, peel and chop the onions and carrots into pieces, of course appropriate sizes for the sauce, and cut the peppers. I ended up using 2 whole onions, 2 whole red peppers, and 3 garden carrots. Step 4. Once the oil has come to a complete boil, add the freshly cut vegetables to the pot. Stir the vegetables occasionally, ensuring that they are fully cooked. Do so for about 20 minutes. Step 6. Once the vegetables are cooked, you can add the spices consisting of salt, pepper, and garlic. I had already mixed the 3 seasonings together, so all I had to do was put them in the pot. Step 7. Pour 2 cans at 2.84 liters of whole tomatoes to the pot. Step 8. Once the whole tomatoes have been added to the pot, the sauce has to cook for at least a minimum of 1 hour. Just as a side note, monitor the boiling levels to make sure that the sauce does not spill over the pot. Step 9. Add 1 can, again 2.84 liters, of the crushed tomatoes to the pot. You will have to wait another half an hour before it is completely ready. As another side note, it is important to stir frequently in between steps. Make sure you are constantly keeping an eye on the pot. And there you have it, the perfect recipe to making Italian authentic pasta sauce. Lastly, the experiment went very smoothly, but of course on my second try. I had to make the sauce twice because the first time was more of a trial and error because I was not too sure how much of each ingredient I needed. This was the case because I attempted to do it on my own without my mom's attention, and this ended up very terribly. The second time I was sure to have my mom by my side because I did not want to end up being unsuccessful and wasting my time. Not for anything, but doing it twice gave me the chance to open up my eyes to see how much time and work actually going in to preparing and making food. I was always a child who just ate whatever my parents made for me for lunch or dinner and never really thought about the process that goes behind the scenes um, of making food and having it prepared. Not only am I old enough to cook on my own and prepare my own meals, I can definitely say it's not something that comes easy to me. Overall, making pasta was a huge success in my family, and they were also proud that I took on the role. That was only something my mom ever did. I can now say that I have the secret to making the sauce, and I'm sure my family is going to expect me to make it more times than not, but that's okay because every chance I get to make it is a learning path for me to try and make it better and improve on it from the time before. This is definitely something I am looking forward to, and I have to thank my Genius Hour project for giving me the chance to make something that is more than just a sauce, but more of a family tradition. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and always be ready to do